There's nothing like the fall colors in the eastern Sierras. The aspens, willows, and cottonwood trees turn the entire landscape into a patchwork of gold, orange, and fiery red, all set against snow-dusted peaks and alpine lakes. Last year we planned a week-long van road trip along Highway 395 to chase those magical colors, camping and hiking our way through this stunning stretch of California. Every year the timing of fall colors in the eastern Sierras can look a little bit different. We started our trip on September 22nd and lucked out. It was just the beginning of the season, so we headed to the higher elevations first for a better chance of seeing those early golden leaves. If you're planning your own trip, I recommend keeping an eye on resources like the California Fall Color Map and monocounty.org's Fall Color Report to track updates in real time. And don't forget, snowliage is always a possibility up here, so be prepared for colder temps and even an early dusting of snow, especially if you're camping. Now let's get this road trip started. First, we rented a Road Surfer camper van and picked it up in San Francisco. If you want a closer look at the full van setup, I have a separate video on my channel all about it. From the city, we made the 5.5-hour drive to our first stop, Sagehen Summit. To get there, we took Highway 108, which turned out to be an absolute gem. The drive itself was lined with fall colors, winding through mountain passes and quiet forests. Another option is to take Highway 120 through Yosemite, but depending on the time of year, you'll want to check if permits are required. The scenery was gorgeous and it set the perfect tone for the rest of our fall road trip. When we went, Yosemite permits were still in place and we hadn't planned ahead to get one. So we ended up on 108 instead, and honestly, it was the best surprise detour. Sagehen Summit, located off Highway 395, is known for being one of the very first places in the eastern Sierras to show fall color. So if you're visiting early in the season, definitely add it to your list. It's also one of the most abundant displays of foliage you'll find, with aspen groves stretching out in every direction. To get there, you'll need to head down a dirt road, and all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive is recommended. Our first night of camping was at Twin Lakes Campground in Mammoth, which is one of the more popular spots in the area, and for good reason. The campground has a nearby general store for basics, and it's close enough to town if you need to restock on groceries or even treat yourself to dinner at a local restaurant. The next morning, we laced up for a beautiful hike that started right from our campsite. We followed the paved trail up towards Lake Mary and looped around Twin Lakes. This area is a dream if you love the outdoors. There's endless options for hiking, biking, fishing, and lake activities all within a short distance. For lunch, we stopped at Mammoth Brewing Company, which had a nice outdoor patio for us and our dog, plus a big selection of food and drinks. Our next stop was East Fork Campground, and it quickly became one of my favorite sites from the trip. The campground sits right along Rock Creek, so you fall asleep to the sound of the rushing water, and in the fall, the entire area is lined with glowing aspens. We didn't even book ahead and still found plenty of open campsites, which made it feel a little bit more spontaneous and special. This campground is a great home base to spend a few nights, as the sites are spacious and you can fish along the creek, and it's close to nearby areas to explore, such as Rock Creek Lake. While we just made Rock Creek Lake a quick pit stop to take photos, it definitely is a beautiful spot to catch fall colors reflecting off the water and has endless opportunities for photos. Between the peaceful creekside camping and the golden lakeside views, this stop really captured the magic of the eastern Sierras in autumn. From there, we packed up and hit the road toward Bishop for the next leg of our Eastern Sierras Fall Color road trip. Once we rolled into Bishop, we stopped for lunch at Aaron Schott's Roadhouse, not to be confused with Eric Schott's Bakery, which we went to later in this video. The Roadhouse was the perfect casual spot to refuel with hearty sandwiches and comfort food before continuing our drive. After lunch, we wandered over to Spellbinder Books, a cozy independent bookstore, to stretch our legs and check out the books. From Bishop, we set out on the hunt for our next campsite in the Aspendell area. We didn't book ahead because we wanted the flexibility to check things out in person, and we heard this area often has first come, first served spots available, especially in the fall when it's considered more of the off-season. Traveling midweek definitely worked in our favor since things tend to be a little less busy. We ended up finding the perfect creekside spot at Fort Jeffrey Campground, tucked along the South Fork of Bishop Creek. Views here are incredible, and you can look right out at Table Mountain, and there's tons of fall foliage in the area. Aspendell sits at about 8,400 feet in elevation, making it one of the higher spots in the area. Higher elevation means you'll see fall colors earlier in the season, so if you're traveling in late September or early October, this is a great place to start. For comparison, June Lake sits closer to 7,600 feet, so its colors tend to peak a little later in the season. During this leg of our trip, we took a gorgeous drive up to Lake Sabrina, and it was super picturesque. The hillsides and shoreline were lit up with a mix of reds, oranges, and yellows, all perfectly mirrored in the lake's glossy surface. It's one of those places where you can't help but stop every few feet to take photos. If you're coming up this way in the fall, Lake Sabrina is without question a must visit. Definitely bring your fishing poles. If you're looking for a nice day hike, South Lake is just 10 minutes up the road from Fort Jeffrey Campground. Take the Bishop Pass trailhead, which leads into some of the most breathtaking high country in the eastern Sierras. Whether you're heading out for a short day hike along the lake or planning a bigger adventure deeper into the wilderness, this trailhead offers endless opportunities. Even just a couple miles in, you'll be rewarded with mountain views and plenty of fall color along the way. No trip through Bishop is complete without a stop at the iconic Eric Schott's Bakery, world renowned for its sheepherder's bread. Inspired by Basque immigrants, it's still hand-shaped and baked in stone ovens just like the original. Schott's has carried on that tradition, and the bakery is famous for its soft, golden-crusted loaves that are still made fresh daily. We grabbed sandwiches from the deli for lunch, and they were the perfect road trip fuel. They also have baked goods, pastries, cookies, pies, as well as shelves of jams, spreads, and canned goods. It's definitely a can't-miss stop in Bishop, whether you're stocking up for a camping trip or just treating yourself. Next, we set off toward June Lake Campground. We visited the June Lake area before in the fall, and it never disappoints. The whole loop is surrounded by mountains and dotted with lakes, making it one of the most scenic spots along Highway 395. There are many great hiking and camping opportunities here, from lakeside strolls to longer trails that climb up into the backcountry. The campground itself is walking distance into June Lake, and it's a cute, charming little mountain community with local cafes, a brewery, and a small town vibe that makes you feel right at home. Since most of the June Lake area wasn't quite at peak fall color yet, we decided to skip some of our past favorites like Silver Lake and Gull Lake, though if you're here later in the season, I can't recommend those enough. Instead, we set off for a high alpine hike to Parker Lake in the Ansel Wilderness. This 3.5-mile round-trip hike is what I'd call a high-reward trail. It starts out with gorgeous stretches of aspen groves, glowing gold in the sunlight, and gradually opens up to wide mountain views. The trail finishes at Parker Lake itself, which honestly might be one of the most beautiful lakes I've ever seen in California, framed by dramatic peaks and crystal clear water. After our hike, we headed back to camp and stopped at the June Lake Marina to clean up with a quick shower. It's always a treat after a day on the road. The next morning, we grabbed coffee in town and continued north to Trumbull Lake Campground, where we lucked out with a first-come, first-served site right along the lake. The spot felt extra special because we even saw a mama deer and her 2 babies wander through camp. This campground is the perfect base for exploring Virginia Lakes, which is just a short walk away. The whole basin was lit up with fall colors, and there's even a trail that takes you up to Blue Lake for even more alpine views. It was the perfect final stop before heading home. I'll share a map of our route with all the campgrounds and day hikes we explored so you can get a sense of our loop. But honestly, this trip only scratches the surface of all the fall color magic along Highway 395. If you're planning your own adventure, I've put together a more comprehensive guide with tips and detailed itineraries over on my blog, Brits Bella Vita. I'll link those posts in the description of this video so you can dive deeper and start planning your own Eastern Sierra fall color trip. If you've gotten this far, thank you so much for watching my video, and let me know in the comments if you found this guide helpful. If you'd like to keep following along for more California road trips and adventures, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Can't wait to share more with you soon!